All right, and good day, everyone. I'm Joshua Weisel here in the Weather 225 Storm Studios, and we're taking a look at your extended forecast here with the full forecast segment. And we're going to be talking about a couple different things. First of all, Saharan dust, it continues in our atmosphere throughout the day today, may linger into the next couple of days as well. We've got more heat alerts, not necessarily as widespread, but something to be aware of as we're factoring in high heat and high humidity. And then the other thing, too, keeping an eye on a little bit more of an active pattern. It's not going to be as active as we've seen, so don't want you to worry and think we've got another month of just endless rainfall on the way. We have some more active weather on the way with a mostly quiet pattern ahead of time as well. We'll get into that full forecast as well as a look at your 4th of July forecast here coming up. Here's a look at what we got for today's regional forecast this afternoon. We did bump up some temperatures in some locations, right around the upper 90s into the River Valley, some mid, even close to some upper 90s in portions of our southeastern Oklahoma counties that we cover, but mostly lower to mid 90s elsewhere around the region. It's just the closer you get to I-40, that's where those temperatures are going to increase as well. Overnight tonight, pretty much a copy and paste forecast almost, just a little bit of a decrease in some spots with the temperatures by only about 1 or 2 degrees. Otherwise, we're talking lower to the upper 70s pretty much for a large portion of the area. Further to the west, though, that's where those lows could be into the upper 70s, lower 80s once again. So it's going to be another warm morning, but we're not going to be talking about, every single location seeing the 80s. But pretty much the next several days, temperatures are really going to just be pretty consistent going forward. It's just that time of year. Now, the morning fog outlook for the Foghorns morning fog outlook, the good news is we're continuing the mornings without those ingredients necessary for fog. But I did want to bring this to your attention. We're keeping an eye on that every morning here with the Foghorns Morning Fog Outlook. This is brought to you by Foghorns. If you want to support them like they support us, visit them, and they have locations in Springdale and in Fayetteville. So give them, some support. Head on over there, check them out, and grateful to have them as a sponsor here on the channel. So shout out to Foghorns. Here's a look at what we got for the regional alerts once again. Pretty much the same thing. Southwest Missouri, we've got heat advisories issued. Now, the interesting thing about our county coverage area is the reason that there's not kind of these alerts that are just pretty much widespread is because this portion of our county coverage area, this is covered by the National Weather Service in Springfield, Missouri. And so their alerts, they do have a heat advisory for all of our southwestern Missouri counties. This area further to the east, this is all National Weather Service in Little Rock. And then everywhere else, this is National Weather Service Tulsa that covers these jurisdictions. Right now, Tulsa is only electing to add Fort Smith to a heat advisory by the time we get to this afternoon, and it would be roughly in these areas that you see highlighted here that would be included. That's going to be in effect by the time we get to around 1 o'clock. And so just a heads up there, Fort Smith will have a heat advisory. But eastern Oklahoma, no heat advisories issued as of today. But keep in mind, we still have a couple more days. And then by the time we get to around 4th of July, it wouldn't surprise me if we start to see more widespread heat advisories issued, because by the time we get to the 4th of July, and we'll show you that with the forecast coming up, we'll be into the upper 90s for a large portion of the coverage area. This is what we're talking about. So pretty much all of the coverage area except for northwest Arkansas and southwest Missouri as of today for the 4th of July forecast looks to be into the upper 90s. Now, southwest Missouri, northwest Arkansas, we're going to be looking at the mid to the upper 90s, but when you factor in the humidity, we've got some rain chances that arrive by Sunday. So with the humidity and the heat, it wouldn't surprise me if we see more widespread heat advisories. And the other thing too, as someone that owns a smoker and you want to go out there and barbecue and you want to grill out and stuff like that, if you're going to be cooking out and it's going to be for a long period of time in the heat, in the humidity, you're going to want to take the breaks in the shade, in the AC, and please stay hydrated. So I'm just going to give some, a little bit of an extended look into the 4th of July because I just want to show that it is going to be pretty hot out there. So outdoor activities, you're going to be fine as long as you stay hydrated, take breaks in the shade, wear the sunscreen too. For any 4th of July parades, if it's in the middle of the day, don't walk your pets. It's going to be way too hot for their feet in the afternoon. So please consider that. They're little paw pads. They're not indestructible and they can get burned pretty easily. So one way to check before you do anything is by placing the back of your palm on the surface of the ground and keep it there for 7 seconds. And if it's uncomfortable at all, it's way too warm for their little paw pads there. So that's a look at the 4th of July forecast. And now let's take a look at the heat impacts as we head into 4th of July weekend as well. High heat impacts looking pretty much likely the next several days with very high by the time we get to Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now, you might be wondering, What exactly does this mean? And I've been explaining it just because we use a little bit different measurements compared to other outlets that you'll see online and pretty much anywhere else. The universal, heat measurement that's for pretty much everything, the heat advisories, everything like that. There's nothing wrong with that. So we're not discrediting that. That's what we call the heat index. The problem though with the heat index is it only accounts for what it feels like when you're in the shade. There's another measurement out there that's gaining traction, and we love to use it here because it gives more details on how the heat will impact your body. It's what we call the wet bulb globe temperature. And I'll just run through a brief explanation if this is the first time you've heard about it. I've been explaining it all week. All it is it's a different measurement, and it accounts for sunshine, it accounts for wind, it accounts for pretty much a million different factors. Not quite literally a million, but you get the story with this is it accounts for a lot more details. And once you start getting into the higher levels with the wet bulb globe temperature, which is roughly 90 degrees or warmer with the wet bulb globe temperature, that means that the heat and the humidity is so high that it actually reaches a point that your body can't sufficiently cool itself down. Think of this, your body sweats to cool itself down, but when you're adding that moisture to cool itself down and the atmosphere around you is, pretty damp, and it's also pretty warm, it comes a time where your body's not going to be able to efficiently cool itself down. So we're factoring that in, and that's why we're talking about very high heat and humidity impacts Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Now, it's not for everyone. It's just for the River Valley and Northeast and Northern Oklahoma. But there will be some moderate to high levels elsewhere in Northwest Arkansas and parts of Southwest Missouri as well, but not to the extent that we're going to see in parts of Oklahoma and the River Valley. Here's a look at what we've got here for the extended temperature outlook. No changes, still on track for above average temperatures. No shocker here because, at some point with all the cool temperatures that we had in June, at some point we had to start swinging back into that more summer-like pattern. So right now we're into the slightly above average category for those temperatures. And then also keeping an eye, there will be some rain and thunderstorm opportunities over the next 6 to 10 days. It's not going to be a weekly washout where every single day is looking at rain chances, but we will have to keep an eye on some precipitation chances here in the near future. In fact, one of those opportunities is actually going to be Sunday and Monday. Now, I didn't want to bump up these precipitation chances just yet for Sunday, Monday, because we're about a week out or just under a week out for these chances. Now, there's many times where the models can bump them up pretty, significantly. It looks like a high-end rain chance, and then you get to 3 days out, and it's, kind of hit or miss, and then the day of, things can change rapidly, especially the further out you get. So we're not going to focus too much on that. All I'm going to tell you is there is going to be maybe some rain and thunderstorm chances Sunday, Monday. But the other thing too, we want to highlight the 4th of July forecast. That's looking pretty warm out there. So if you have any sort of plans for the 4th of July, I know that many of you do. I'm, personally, going to be outside with the smoker cooking out some ribs and some brisket and all that good stuff for the 4th of July. If you're planning to do anything along those lines with the high heat cooking outside, take it easy out there. Stay hydrated. I'm already planning on taking some breaks in the shade because it's going to be quite warm out there. So take care of yourself on the 4th of July. Stay hydrated, put on the sunscreen, take the breaks in the shade, and also enjoy your holiday, but just keep in mind the heat safety that we've got going forward. Same for you and your pets. Next several days, we've got, mid-upper 90s pretty much area-wide in northeast Oklahoma, the River Valley, and then we've also got some triple digits potentially on the way. So temperatures, they're kind of rocking back and forth between about upper 90s, lower, triple digits. So we're going to keep an eye on that. Moral of the story is late week, it's going to be quite warm. And then some rain and thunderstorm chances Sunday and Monday, mostly for southwest Missouri, northeast Oklahoma, and northwest Arkansas. But things will change. We'll have the very latest here with all this coming up. If you want to support us, we have a couple different ways that you can financially support us. We've got a Venmo and a Patreon where you can donate to keep our operations funded and up and running. You can choose the amount, the frequency. That's entirely up to you. We're not going to, force you into some high, paying tier or anything like that. That's entirely up to you if you choose or want to do so. The other thing too, we're looking to partner with local businesses, and not only would you be supporting us, but we'd be supporting you. We'd help get some outreach out there on the channel. We've got numerous ways to advertise your business across all of our platforms, and we would love to get in contact with you. So if you'd like to get in contact with us, here's our information on the screen right now. And then the other way too, if those options don't work for you, just share our media. That's one of the best ways to get our outreach out there. It's Nice to have the high followers and views and all of that type of stuff. But the important thing to us is when you share these updates, we're able to reach more people to bring them the latest weather information, weather safety, and even our severe weather coverage when we have those events that move through. We want to make sure that during active weather, we can reach as many people as possible to keep them safe and informed. So that's one of the best ways you can support us, is just by sharing and following along. So thank you so much for all of the follows and shares and everything like that from everyone that's been tuning in. We really appreciate you, and hopefully you have a great rest of your day. We'll be keeping an eye on the forecast. Stay tuned. We'll have more. There's that, and we have a little TVS there, tornado vortex signature, and that's indicative of some fairly strong rotation. With the latest state-of-the-art equipment, we can call out areas of concern ahead of the warning. And there it is. We called it here first, y'all, and we are able to show you these things in real time, and our tools, you can't beat them. We're able to show you these things as they happen before the warning even occurs. This is coverage you won't find anywhere else. Weather coverage with Joshua Weisel in the Weather 225 Storm Studios. Weather local to you since 2015. If you like our media and forecast, be sure to support us today on Patreon. You can advertise with us this storm season and throughout the year. Contact us today for availability and pricing. Weather 225 since 2015.